Hello, everyone. Welcome to Soulpreneur Symposium, where I bring soulpreneurs, heart aligned, soul aligned entrepreneurs from all over the world who are here to share their soul aligned wisdom with you. And today, with me, I have my amazing friend, Nikhil. And Nikhil is a mindful manifester. He's into mindfulness. He has had an incredible experience where he turned his life completely around once in a particular train station event in 2017 when he discovered his inner world and the world of mindfulness. And now he's changing the world through his insights on mindfulness, on inner awareness, and how to live a life in a much more connected way, right? So, Nika, tell me about the train incident because that is something I'm particularly excited about. We have talked about this, but I need my audience to hear about this. What happened and what led to the transformation from the old Nika to this new one? Let's hear it.
Thank you, Debjit. Thank you for having me here. This is an honor and it's a privilege in my view. It's a privilege because a lot of us don't have the opportunity to connect in this way. So I take this opportunity very seriously and I want to share as much as I can to help people in similar situations or to help people around the world. So I'm so grateful for you to offer me this opportunity. So thank you, Debjit. And I've seen your work, and it's amazing. And I like people who are doing different things in the world, trying to bring people closer together. So thank you for that. Uh, yeah, and I think you gave me a great introduction. I mean, that is, thank you again. There's a lot of things there, but yeah, I think going back to why I am here. It started off, as you said, in that very fateful 3 a.m. night at Reading train station. So, for those who don't know where Reading is, it's a city in near outskirts of London. Just happened to be a normal city. I just happened to be there at 3 a.m. Just woken up suddenly, my eyes wide open. Didn't realize where I was. After a whole night of partying and enjoying my life, I found myself 3 a.m. woken up by myself, standing on a staircase, looking deep into the distance, looking at what is going on? Why am I here? Who am I? What am I? All sorts of existential questions. And little did I realize that was a moment of transformation because that was the moment where I decided something needed to change in my inner world and something needed to change, shift because I was not internally aligned. Externally, everything looks great. I'm working for a big corporate company that sells a lot of things online. You probably have heard of it, but it was it was a we call it, sometimes people call this a wake up call, but it was really a wake up call for me because I just woke up literally,
Mhm.
and it was a moment of reflection. It was so vivid in my imagination, even though you would argue like, oh, I was inebriated or I was in a different state. Like it was clear that moment, just waking up and looking at and reflecting inward. Now, I don't have any vocabulary to explain that. I'm hoping you guys can help me with this. But it was a sudden reflection. And the reflection was saying something needs to change. But what? I don't know. How? I have no clue. In that time, I have developed some really bad corporate wellness habits like smoking, drinking, and just basically numbing all your senses. Uh, and all of that was part of the mirror or part of the mask I was wearing. And this moment just shone a light on it. And from there, it has been a journey. We are here in 2025. Hopefully, you're listening this in 2025. If you're listening this in 2030, great. Good to see you. Hope the world is okay. But uh, in that moment, that reflective journey started. So that's why I'm here to talk about as much as possible and to engage with you, Debjit, also to understand what all this means from your perspective. Maybe you can share some perspective as well. So that's why I'm here. I'm looking forward to having a
Mhm.
wonderful conversation with you.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. I mean, we have gone through this particular incident where you were in the train station, and you had this moment of kind of like an inner awakening, although you were inebriated, like you said, and yet you had this moment of reflection that, there's something needs to shift, as if like you were stuck in kind of like a hamster wheel, and suddenly the hamster stops for a moment and sees like something needs to change, just going round and around. Did it feel something like that?
100%. Yeah, it kind of makes sense if you when you put it that way. It was like I was repeating the same old patterns. It's like
Mhm.
I'm repeating, and now I just caught myself repeating kind of thing. Yeah, that was a moment. That was a moment of which I never would have thought ever. Like until then, I was 30, 33, something like that, 33, 34. So I could say lived a good life and like good family, good friends. Everything was nice. Everything. So like the repetition was just a norm, and that's how I thought life should be. Like, yeah, we just do the same things. We get a job. We work as hard as we can, earn as much money as we can. Then we retire and enjoy life. Kind of narrative which we have all been sold. So I was like going through the motions. Yeah, I got a great job overlooking River Thames. I mean, that's beautiful. Like my office, or not my office, one of the meeting rooms in my office just was next to London Bridge and Tower Bridge, and sorry, London Bridge, and it was like beautiful. I'm like, wow, this is exactly what I wanted in my life. When I was a kid, I was like dreaming of where I should be working, and I was like, London. I should have like a glass pane and that overlooks London. I was like, that is what I wanted. And coming to the topic, that's what I kind of manifested in 2017 without even realizing it. So that was again a point. This point of 2017, we go back to this time, but the time is not relevant. It's the essence. It's like something flipped, and then later, after doing research, inner work, uh, trying to study all sorts of materials, talking to people, changing myself, I started to realize, okay, this is all part of what we are about to talk about, which is manifesting. Because I imagined that as a kid. Now you can argue. A lot of people, a lot of skeptics out there, they'll be like, oh yeah, okay, so you would have imagined this as a kid, but you would have imagined you being an astronaut, but you are not an astronaut, so hence manifesting doesn't work. Uh,
Mm.
so I get that, but that was not my dream.
Mhm.
That was not my encoded reality. So, like, you have a dream, not everything comes to fruition because not everything you believe in, and not everything is possible in a physical body in the limitations a physical body has. But
Right.
when you have the spiritual ideas, yes, there is possibilities are endless. But when
Mm.
you are looking at reality through a physical body constrained by what we have, yeah, there are certain things which is limited. So not all dreams can come true. But the things which you believe, which you start to pay attention to more and more, repeat, and then it becomes your belief, that becomes your thoughts, that becomes your daily practice, that becomes your reality. That is what I was doing without me realizing. So, like, I came to understanding that the dream which I had ever since I was a youngster, growing up, studying, trying to get a job, etc. I had this vision and it came to reality. I had another vision, which is I will be helping people and that is
Mhm.
now coming to fruition. So all of this is part of that one converging point. Like that point is like you can take that point out and still doesn't really make any difference, but it was a moment, and I'm just using that moment because that was
Mm.
probably the moment where I felt it strongest. Uh, all because of my habits and like all the layers, all the stuff which I've put on. So I hope I make that.
You do. You do. You actually perfectly do. I have so many questions, honestly speaking, because now that I've come to know, we are going to talk about manifestation. But now I've already heard that you did manifest the childhood dream of, going to UK, having the kind of job, having the kind of view, and the River Thames, the London Bridge, no less. It felt like you literally manifested s- unconsciously or subconsciously without knowing the process of it. In our chat before, because Nikhil and I, we had a chat before, I know that you shared that later, after, let's say, that moment, in 2017, you got into mindfulness, you started doing meditation and exploring, and you discovered the M word, manifesting. And there's so much I want to explore. But you did mention that then onwards, it became like the more of a conscious manifestation archetype that you were trying to embody, more like the unconscious, which was going on. So, my question would be, you have seen yourself unconsciously manifesting a dream life, which later felt misaligned, and you woke up from it, and now you are consciously manifesting. What do you think has been the lesson behind these two type of worlds that you have manifested? One was the one before, and now the one that is happening right now.
You use the word conscious. Uh, I would actually take it further. I think it's not just conscious; it's subconscious as well. So you train your subconscious to make things important for you, and when you make things important, relevant, really uh, core to what you believe in. So, like I take this example. Maybe in the past, I manifested things or did some things out of social pressure. So it was not really kind of my own idea, although I would say I had some part in it because I had the choice. I chose to do certain things, but it was kind of coming from different angles, which I didn't pay attention to. Now, you said
Mhm.
mindfulness. So, what does mindfulness have to do with anything? Mindfulness was a way to, it's a gateway to your own awareness. So, when you become more and more mindful, a lot of things come up because you have been ignoring all of them. And suddenly you're aware of all your addictions, your limiting beliefs, your insecurities, your cravings, your dirty laundry, all of it, everything comes up. Like it's there because you have not paid attention to it. Now when you become mindful through practices
Mhm.
of breathing, just being conscious about it, we don't have to be too strict on what mindfulness practice means.
Mhm.
Mindfulness means you are paying attention on purpose to something over and over again with a non-judgmental quality of mind, with a curious kind attention. Simple. Just so if you're right now speaking to someone, you speak with full attention on what you're saying. If you're listening to someone, try to be as aware of what they're saying and try to engage in a non-judgmental, curious kind way. This is basic practice. So once you start to do this with your breath, with your thoughts, with your words, with your meals, with your walking, with your exercise, with your life, you start to see all the patterns in your life. You start to realize, oh, this is where I do this certain things. This is where I start to notice when I react. This is where I get angry. This is where I get frustrated. This is
Mhm.
where I start to have problems. This is where I like self-sabotage. This is where I self criticize. This is where I have a block. So all these things came up. So first of all, it'll be overwhelming. It became overwhelming. So when I started practicing mindfulness, I didn't realize how powerful it was, because it started to show me all this, and I was like, oh my goodness. Now I have to stop smoking. I have to stop drinking. Wow. Okay. How do I do that? Like, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. I tried in the past, but I couldn't. So all these habits started to show me what they were. They were just
Mm.
masks. They were just trying to protect me. They were trying to
Mm.
protect me from me, or protect me from uh, the 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 consciousness, the universal consciousness, because I probably wasn't ready to receive it. So all these things started to come up. So I had to tackle them one by one. I started to learn more about mindfulness. Right, learned, studied. I became a meditation teacher, and all of that happened along its path. So nothing was forced. It just one day, just I started to do these things like one by one, bang, bang. And it was not like I planned it for several hours and like brainstormed sessions with. I didn't rationalize. There was not too much uh, logical thinking,
Mm.
because that's what we are taught. Like when we are taught, when we are students, or when we were growing up, especially in an Indian society, you are taught to be rational. You should have the pros and cons. You should make every decision with a protractor. I'm like, what is a protractor? Like, protractor was something which measures angles. How does that help me making decision whether I want to buy this thing or not? Like, it we over intellectualize, over
Yeah.
analyze a lot of things. So these sort of decisions just came impulse, like bang, I want to be a meditation teacher. Bang, I wanted to do 8-week course. Bang, I wanted to read this book. I wanted to learn about this. Like all these things, it just started happening. I didn't realize much of it. I was like, it's a phase. It will pass. Just like my uh, what do you call my football phase, where I was playing football. So like I thought, like, oh, yeah, I'll be interested in this for a while, and then none of this will work. And some of the ideas were like very out there for me. I was a skeptic. Skeptic. Uh, I I would say I'm still skeptical, but I'm not a skeptic. I think
Mm.
I take things. I think I understand there is a lot more we don't understand
Mm.
than what we understand. So I have a view of, okay, we can be skeptical,
Mm.
but I don't want to put too much emphasis on it, because I have seen some changes which I like. If you had told me 10 years ago, you would immediately, like, this is one of the
Mm.
profound ones, you'll stop smoking overnight. I'm like, I'm smoking 25 a day. No chance. No. You would stop drinking. And drinking is such a big part of our culture that ever since I was like 18, 17, this was the only thing men did. Like, we go out, we get drunk, we enjoy life. Without drink, we cannot enjoy life. All these narratives were forming in schools, in colleges. Like, people who drank were a bit different, and like they were cooler.
Yeah.
All of these narratives. So like, if you told me 10 years ago, Nikhil, you will not drink forever from 2023 onwards, I'll be like, get lost. This is some stupid people saying stupid things. And I would be so dismissive of it, because I'll be like,
Mm.
no chance, no chance. I'm skeptical about this. If you practice this, you saying I will stop drinking. Like, give me the research data, give me the things. And there was enough research also. Like, there was enough research in how mindfulness affects addiction, mindfulness affects all of this. So all these things come up, correct? All these things come up, and I'm tackling them one by one. I'm also like learning new things. I'm trying new things. Like, some things stick, something didn't. Like, I tried to learn French, didn't work. I tried to learn certain instruments, didn't work yet, but maybe in the future it'll work. But it's not the right time. But then certain things like teaching mindfulness, learning about mindfulness, all of that stuck. So I kept on practicing. And coming back to the question about earlier, when I realized what manifesting was to what it is now, I believe
Mm.
that we can create any reality we want in the laws of nature
Mhm.
that we truly believe in.
Mm.
And that is like what my statement of life is changed to, because I was able to change all these things which were the most difficult things in my life.
Mm.
And that is why I call it like manifestation with a pinch of salt, because I still am conformed to this physical realm. But we can talk about like the spiritual realm and how what's possible out there. But I haven't ventured out there yet. So it's still in the physical realm. It's still right now, I'm a human, kind of. I'm a vessel. Like, anyway, we are all recycled materials if you want to get scientific as well. I just did a session today about we are all stardust. If you think about it, we are all coming from collisions in the stars. All the heavy elements are created in the stars, and they form us through cycles of existence in the planet. So all of these atoms, everything is recycled. So like I'm not unique, even though I think I'm unique. I'm just the universe. I'm just part, not even part. I am the universe, because like you are just energies like forming in, like this is not even what do you call, spiritual mumbo jumbo, people call it, like spiritual. This is not even this is actual science. We are waves and energies, and energy form matters. Everything what you see here is just what your eyes can pick up as wavelength. So it's not even real. Everything is like, this is just empty space with some elements in it in a weird combination, and then we call it us. And okay, that's getting into the spiritual realm. But for coming back to the physical element, so I started to realize, okay, now if I make things important for me, this is the key. Like a lot of us want to make changes, right? A lot of us want to change those habits. But the first thing they do is they find how can I change it? How can I change? How can I do this? Like, what should I do? What should I learn? What should I do? And it'll work, it might not work. But have they gone deeper and asked the question, do you believe in that? Do you completely, truly believe? And that question, if you believe in it, and if you practice that belief, not just thinking it once, over and over again, over and over, I believe. So when I used to smoke, I used to do this practice. I used to be like, while I'm smoking a cigarette, I'm a non-smoker. I'm a non-smoker. Not out loud. You can do it out loud, but it's internal. And when I say I'm a non-smoker, I am truly embodying a non-smoker. Like I'm actually saying I'm a non-smoker. Not just, oh, I'm a non-smoker. I'm actually with a cigarette, and I'm a non-smoker. And people found, like, when I told my friends, they were like, I was also like, this is not going to. But what flipped was, after a certain amount of practice, I started to believe I was a non-smoker. And it was like something flipped. And that's when the next day I was like, oh, this is my last cigarette. And I even remember, like, I didn't have the craving. I didn't have anything. Now, when I have to advise, not I have to say that, okay, this was my experience. Everyone's experience will be different. I am just saying there's so many things you can change with the power of your mind. This was an example. I'm not saying everybody try it, but if you think there is something you want to change, start with the belief. Start with the core belief. What is your core belief? Like, if your core belief is, I am a certain kind of being, then you will be aligned, correct? But if your core belief is certain something else and you are doing something else, there's misaligned belief. So this is what you mentioned about me when I was maybe in the corporate world. It was a misalignment. And I have only empathy for everyone who works in the corporate world, finding it difficult, finding finding meaning, purpose in life. These are like real challenges people face, and I'm urging them to just start to believe in something which you truly want to do, and things will change. So conscious manifesting nowadays, or the way I'm doing it now, is if I want to say change something, I'm going to make it my core belief. So that is how I'm starting to change things now. I moved away from corporate world to now physical fitness and mental health. Again, I changed my belief. I started to say I am a coach even before I was a coach. I started to say I am I'm a well-being professional even before I got the job in wellness. Like, and then when you start to believe it, things happen. I started to say I am an author before I published the book as well. So
Wow.
like and it's so hard to believe, maybe because we are conditioned to, maybe because we've been taught like that. Maybe it's like, oh, everything somebody says, we have to take with a pinch of salt, and then we like, okay, Nikhil's experience is Nikhil's experience. It cannot be mine. Can it? No way, it cannot be mine. And that is the conditioning. Instead, if we say, oh, Nikhil's experience is interesting, I'm going to be curious. I'm going to practice certain things. Let me try to change a belief. Let me see how it manifests. Let me be curious. Let me write it down. Let me investigate. And suddenly you'll have a different outcome. Guaranteed. It's just that the initial step, people are like, oh, that's Nikhil's experience. They try to rationalize, oh, Nikhil had this thing, Nikhil had that thing. It won't happen for me. It won't happen for me. No, it's not for me. They don't even take that first step. But if you take that first step, you can change a lot of things. And that's what I call conscious manifesting, or
Wow.
manifestation with a pinch of salt.
Absolutely loved it. Actually, now I don't know what to say because I was like so absorbed in, experiencing everything that was coming out of you. And I have something to share, honestly speaking, that you, I think, would love hearing about. The the day we had that chat, it was not a particularly good day for me because just the day before that day, actually on that day, there was some financial, stress that was going on in my life. So the whole week I was doing fantastic. I was like, I have this meeting coming up with him. So excited. That particular afternoon, hell broke loose. I was emotionally dysregulated. And I was like, man, I have to do this meeting. I was so excited. And today I have this, no, but I've committed and I will do it. And our chat went great and everything. But something happened out of that meeting that was so special for me that now that you're sharing about manifesting, I think I need to share with my audience too. Now, you mentioned, I think, something about gratitude journaling also. You said that, Debjit, I wrote these 10 things down and all of those things have manifested. Now, this is exactly something that happened with me also. When I was like doing my MBA, I remember I knew that I don't want to get into the corporate. I knew I'm just doing it for the degree, and mom and dad wants to do it, otherwise they'll not leave me, Indian family. And I want to be an entrepreneur. So I devoted all my time to watch TEDx videos, read books of self-development coaches. One particular person, his name is Brian Tracy. He's still alive, and he was talking about time management, which was my favorite thing back at that time. Later, I also became a productivity coach. Anyways, long story short, he also thought about the same thing, and he has been teaching it from, I think, 90s, that, write the things down, and you will see within 5 years, all the things will come. And manifestation was not a word back then, as if those things will, and it happened with me also. Later, the things that I wrote down back at that time is I want to be sort of a coach. I want to, meet with people all over the world. I want to write books, blah, blah, blah. And many of the things came true. And it baffled me just like you. Now, on that particular day, you're sharing many things, and much of it being in the spiritual path, I've heard of 100,000 times, like the gratitude journaling, this, that. None of the things we talked about was mostly unknown of anything that I have been hearing about or reading. But then there is this sacred experience sometimes happen, which only happens, I think, this is the gift of an embodied person. Many people can talk about techniques. Mindfulness is just a word, spirituality is just a word, meditation is just a word. But the one who lives it, the one who has experienced it, that kind of a person carries a certain field around them, which kind of like transfers that thing when another person is ready to receive. On that day, you're talking about the gratitude journaling, and I was like, is that what the universe is trying to give me? Because it really resonates with me. And I was exactly thinking, but man, again, that thing I have to do. And you were saying that all of the things came through in your life. I'm like, I desperately need that, some of that in my life right now. I did it, Nikhil. I'm not even kidding with you. After the chat, I had my dinner and stuff. Before bed, I, opened my, Notion, and I was like, and I have this crazy thing. I used to have that thing, before also. If somebody says do this, I will like triple it and do it because I want more reward. It's like, yeah. So I was like, not 10 things, definitely. It's going to be 50. Okay, so I went on, and I have done it before. So I have already gone through it, but it has been many years. So, and beautiful thing, I want to share this with my audience also. Nikhil told me that, just write down what you're thankful about. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. That I'm thankful for this bottle. I'm thankful for this cough drop. I'm thankful for this chair. I'm thankful for this phone. Thank you for this opportunity to talk with you. Thank you for this earphone. There's so many things that we can be thankful about. And to me, the lesson that I've been learning is like, don't do it for an external result. Do it for the experience of gratitude that I'm going to feel in the moment, which is immediate, which is instant reward. Not because something is going to manifest, because that connects us to the loop. Like, okay, so what if it doesn't happen? It's like a useless technique now. But no, I don't like that. I'm like, what I'm doing needs to give its reward immediately. So I'm doing it for the feeling good that will happen right now. So I did it. I read, thank you for the keyboard. Thank you for the laptop. Thank you for this. There are like 50 of them. By the time, just like you said, I was feeling tons better already. Next day, I did it. Next day, I was not writing it down, but the whole day, I'd been doing it even today. I'm not even getting it because something started happening today. And again, I'm thankful. I am the spiritual teacher here. And you gave me that, and I just grabbed it because you carried that energy and you carried it so powerfully. I'm like, I received it from you. From the next day, things started happening in my life. Opportunities started coming in my way. My mind was feeling better, and it kept happening again and again. And I'm like, this is nice. I just kept doing it. So when I'm going for my morning walks or runs, I'm just, thank you for the beautiful air. It's winter out here. I love this. Thank you for the beautiful feeling in my legs. Every single moment, whenever I can, I'm just doing it. And positive synchronicities are like happening. So, Nikhil, what do you have to say about this? What is this thing, and how does it feel?
Well, you're the spiritual coach, so you should tell me like what's happened. I think it is. I think you're right. There is some sort of transference, or like you can call it names, but energies and things like that is is real. Like you have this feeling, you can walk into a room
Yeah.
where you don't know anyone and you can sense something is off. Can you? Like sometimes you
Mm.
can be like, okay, walk in. What is that? Like some people try to again, like, see, whenever I do this, like my skeptical brain is like, oh, Nick, calm down. You should. So my skeptical brain is saying, hey, oh, that's because people can sense a lot of hormones in the air, or like the smells and like all of this. Yeah, yeah. I'm saying yes, all of that. Like your skin conductance, your
Mm.
the cells on your skin like can absorb things, the light reflected off certain things, the head, the mind, like all of us is everything in this body, in the space, is a receiver. It's receiving information, right? Everything. And then what the consciousness brings to us is like 0.001%. I don't even know. Like I don't even know the maths. Neuroscientists, please correct me. But like the consciousness brings only like tiny fraction of all of this receiving. So what maybe happened, which happens to us a lot, is we take on or we sense things and then body reacts and then we then filter it out. We just say like, okay, that's not important. Yeah, that sensation. Now let's think about lunch. That's more important. Now I say lunch, you'll be hungry. But again, I am hungry maybe. But yeah, so again, so there's subconscious. Like I think when you have someone, we call this vibing. When we are vibing, like when we are vibing, I think people say that the heart is, both hearts are in coherence and like our brains are sync, and the brain waves become like theta or alpha, like the low brain states, which is conducive for a lot of meditative trance kind of things. So like when people are in sync, people are vibing, you sense the energy of each other, and that's what is happening. I think it doesn't matter what the technique was. The technique is just a, it's just a means for us to pay attention. Like
Mm.
your gratitude practice is just something that brings you to this moment very quickly with a different view rather than normal view. Normal as in your habitual views. So that's the idea. So the technique itself might not be the answer, because a lot of people say, okay, okay, again, I said this to someone and they were like, no, Nikhil, gratitude is not what it is. It is something. I mean, people don't do it properly, and you can't just expect if you write three things, everything will be hunky dory for people. And I just listened to him, and he was like so strong about this belief that I cannot say anything to change anything. So like his belief was the gratitude is not important for him,
Mm.
and for all of, so like by extension he said everyone, which is not, which is usually what we do. We think like something is working for me, that means it should be for everyone.
Mm.
But that is not accurate. My point was, you got to try it.
Mm.
Like people try it 3 days, they get bored. As I mentioned last time, people get bored of, oh, what should I be grateful for now? Like I've exhausted everything I've said. So like yes, last time we said I've talked so much gratitude to the coffee. No, not what else. What else is there to be grateful for? I think that is just a lack of practice. It's like saying I have only one muscle in my body. It's the biceps.
Yeah.
So I'll just flex it, but nothing is happening. No, you have to do some other exercises. So you have to push yourself a little bit in certain areas. So, but that's fascinating what you said. I mean, see,
Yeah.
that is wow. I'm so humbled,
Mm.
because it's like Not every time do you hear like something you do actually has an effect. So thank you for sharing because I really appreciate it. But yeah.
Mhm.
So now how are you taking it? How are you taking it? How are you thinking of taking that? What does that mean for you? Let's just
Well, again, this is something like my mind, my skeptical mind in this case. It's like, oh, you have played with this before, you're going to play with it for some days, and then you're going to leave it or whatever. Now, from me and my path and the lessons that I have integrated and experienced, this is not something absolutely new. But what happened on that day was not about new information. Because again, like gratitude journaling, or many other techniques are so talked about that it's like saturated. If any manifestation coach or teacher comes, they are going to talk about it. There's no extra information, and manifestation is not anything different than these simple things. So it was not about the information, I realized. It was about me not being able to integrate the information that has always been there. And in that moment, when you were sharing, you didn't even ask me to do it, if you remember, right? You were just sharing that I did it, this happened. I talked to this person and they were like getting exhausted, but they started doing it and their mind pattern started changing. I was at that moment, like I was saying, I was going through a bad day and I desperately needed something to get back to a more aligned state. And my energies just grabbed onto that. It was like, what? This felt like water. Like, when you don't have, you're thirsty and like somebody's talking about water. I'm like, I can do with that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to drink water 7 days. Right now, I need it.
Mm.
And that's what I did. And I did it purely for the purpose of just balancing myself at that moment because I was feeling horrible and I was losing my self confidence. I was feeling like, I failed and a lot of negative thoughts were going on that day. I knew I teach inner guidance,
Mm.
nothing very different from what you were sharing because the essence is the same, you know? And my inner guidance was like, this is something that you can do today that will make you feel better. And I have practiced listening to that. If something resonates, don't question it too much. Just do it. And like I said before, like I met Nikhil in the Insight Timer app, which is like an app for meditation coaches, and he was doing a live stream. When that was my first day, I also want to share with my audience, my first day installing that app, found him in the first live stream, sent him a chat. He was talking about soft strength. From your presence, I'm telling you, I've told you many times already, from your presence in the live stream and the energies that you're embodying, there is a certain quality about an embodied person which differentiates from another person who is just theoretical and another person who is actually living it. That is the energy. It cannot be expressed with words. There was a certain groundedness about your energy. My audience can also feel that. Your audience can also feel that in our conversation. There's a certain centeredness. When you speak, you do not speak from a place of practice. You speak from a place of whatever comes in this flow. There might be a little structure involved. And that pause, that groundedness, that peace is very palpable. You know, one who can feel it can feel it. And I knew that this person I need to chat with because I enjoyed your live stream. I spoke with you, that was felt again. So that grounded presence is like a proof that whatever you're doing is working for you. Your energy itself is like a living proof. Like, okay, this person must be doing something. He's not just talking out of the book, you know. And when you're just sharing, you didn't ask me, did you do this? I was like, yeah, I'm deeply resonating with it. My mind is like, for what? Just another technique. You've done it 1,000 times before. But I did it. And after that, whatever happened, it's still happening. And the question that you asked me, what are you going to do with it moving forward? I don't have any strict plans. I do not plan my life like that. But what I know that at the moment I'm feeling called to use the simple affirmation thank you, because if you go to my threads, which I have been recently very active on, I literally posted on that night, thank you is a powerful word. You know, because I'm using the simple affirmation, thank you, and I'm just saying it, not because I want my external reality to change, which I do, of course, but I'm doing it because every time you say thank you to a person, thank you to yourself, thank you to your life, thank you to reality, God, universe, whatever, you feel good. That is a given. Immediately feel good. That is like a given. And on top of that, you get this amazing synchronicities happening in your life. I mean, who wouldn't want that? So, and on another aspect, I don't want to move to another tangent, because lately I've been moving into the direction of relationships, and certain words are so important in relationship. And there's a healing modality called Ho'oponopono, which is from Hawaii. If you have heard of it, yeah, there are 4 words in there, which is I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And I had been, I've read that, practiced that in my life. But just this year, I've been realizing these 4 words are like also extremely important for our relationships, personal relationships with you, with our, spouse or mother or father or sibling, or general life, social interaction. How often do we say, I'm sorry, please forgive me? How often do we say thank you? We hardly say that. But the moment you say thank you, something beautiful happens. So when you share that, that was like another confirmation from me, like I want to use the word thank you more and more. So that is why I'm resonating
Mm.
you know so what do you feel about this?
No, that's yeah, amazing, amazing in terms of where you are going with this, because you said basically there's no plan. That is amazing, because I came in like, oh, let's get the structure. Now you're
Yeah.
practicing 50. What about like 7 days a week, 3 days a month, whatever? I was trying to build it, but then you said it happens, and when it runs out, it runs out. No forcing. So that is what I'm taking from these conversations, is what, speaking to you about consciousness and like all the other stuff. I think what I get got out of our conversation last time and this time is, mm, stop forcing it. So
Mm.
stop forcing whatever it is that you are trying to do. So I have that. If I find something useful, well, I don't do it as some really impressive salespeople, but
Mhm.
I try to like tell people, "Look, you just do it,
Yeah, it's
just do it, please." I think the main reason I'm doing it is because I think I'm looking for some
yeah.
sort of validation. Like, okay, I have arrived, or I have found my thing or whatnot. But that's the reason I'm doing it, is just to feed. Again, I have a little bit of ego.
Mhm.
Of course, I have, and I'm trying to feed it because it needs to be. Like, it doesn't need to be fed, but it's
Mm.
crying out. So I do it sometimes. I'm like, okay, I have to. But then now I'm hearing, I think, is yeah, forcing it, yes, and letting things be, and yeah. So that's what I'm taking away from
Wow.
this. And from your point of view, so I've talked a lot about maybe in this physical space, like I'm a human being kind of way.
Mhm.
How would you approach these things from a spiritual
Mhm.
or slightly esoteric, slightly
Mm.
non non-conformist, non-dual kind of?
Yeah,
How do you think about manifestation in that sense?
I feel you. I'm glad you asked this question. Although, having said that, I have some more questions to ask you, but I will answer your question. Before.
Definitely.
You know, um, let me answer your question because I'm glad you asked this. First of all, having said that, everything that we've been exploring, I have a big problem calling myself as a manifestation expert at the moment because I'm really sucking at it. So I'm like, But I have no, that is why I have Nikhil here in this podcast, because he said, and I actually, his energy that I, receive is actually helping me manifest at the moment. And I'm saying, like, it's much more than words. It's about the embodied presence of a true spiritual being who has lived, who has learned, who has integrated, that can give you. But again, like Nikhil has said, that, anybody who's not ready to receive, no matter how much you bang their head, is not going to get it. Like the other person that came to your belief was like stuck. Now, I was at that moment was a very vulnerable state, and for me, it was like water to me. I'm like, I needed that. Now, having said that, although I'm not a manifestation expert at the moment, one day maybe I definitely would love to talk about manifestation. Hopefully I would have more credibility on that area to have that going for myself. But when it comes to manifesting, the way, I have been integrating and realizing is the whole thing is a manifestation. Like consciousness itself is the creator, and everything is a constant process of manifestation. It's not like I follow this wonderful spiritual teacher. He's actually a person from US. His name is Daryl Anka. He channels an entity, an alien entity, you can say, in extraterrestrial. He calls himself Pashar, who speaks, and he says so beautifully that that you never are not manifesting, because this experience that you're experiencing, this physical reality, is a constant manifestation at work. So you don't ever learn manifesting. You learn this unconscious experience into a more conscious experience, like, previously you were drunk driving, now you are awake, and now you're actually, something like that. So it's always about like becoming a more conscious creator of your reality, because you're becoming more and more awakened and more conscious every day. And your reality is becoming more and more aligned with who you are right now. Another aspect I would like to, you know, talk about is like the aspect, like you mentioned, is more on the spiritual side of things. You talked about it in our chat also. Like, why you cannot be everything that you can think of. If manifestation is the absolute science, then whatever you can dream of, you should be able to become. What is stopping us? One thing that I've been realizing and integrating from my higher self from some time now has to do with what I call this is something I also teach in my, you know, courses and programs also. It's called the law of relevance. What is the law of relevance? So the understanding is that we are all souls, as in like fragments of consciousness, who are creators of our own reality. But the why we create our own reality, why we're even doing this whole drama in the first place, is because the one nature of the soul is to constantly expand and grow and expand and grow. Like the seed's only job is to expand and grow and become a tree, and then dissolve and again become a tree. And the universe, as you know from science, is constantly expanding. You know, the ever expansive nature of the soul is always. That's why when you were a children, you wanted to become an adult. When you become an adult, you want to achieve the job, the ladder, this, now a mindfulness teacher. One day, me want to be a manifestation teacher. Or the whole thing, constantly want to become bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, why do you want to do that? Because we want to learn. And how do we do that, rather, is by learning lessons. Now, these experiences that we create, sometimes disharmonious ones, sometimes harmonious ones. The disharmonious one are what you call negative ones. Once we are able to harmonize them, rather than fight with that and blame it, we transmute them and they become our lessons. Like what you had in the train station and everything. You were experiencing that lesson for some time being, and suddenly it clicked, learn the lesson, transformation started to happen. So all experiences share is like catalyst for our spiritual growth. There's not one accidental experience. Everything is here for your growth, right? Now, from that perspective, you will see that the law of relevance is that what are experiences then? All experiences, if are catalysts for your own growth, any such experience that is not needed for your current growth cannot be created by you, because you yourself are not ready to create it. For example, like in the 1980s or 90, when I don't know exactly the time, when the what was the Wright's brother? I think they with the airplane thingy.
1900s.
1900.
1900 something, 1905 or something like that.
Yeah. And those two brothers who did it, before that, flight itself, I think, was pretty imaginary, really crazy. Like, it's not possible. Suddenly it happened. And then so many things were possible. And we keep hearing about the theory that every time an athlete breaks their own personal record, the whole collective breaks the personal record the next year. Yeah, that is like the new limit. So it only tells us that what we think is impossible, we can manifest it, and everybody manifests it. There comes to your belief thing also. So I think all of it is possible, technically speaking, even physically speaking. It just requires that crystallization of consciousness where one can really solidify within themselves, and then it will be possible. And again, it is not about proving something. That experience that you're creating will not come into the physical reality until it itself has some lessons to give to you that is needed by that stage of consciousness where you're at. So let's say levitation. I am imagining I'm going to levitate, I'm going to levitate, I'm going to levitate, I'm not levitating. Why? In from law of relevance, we would say that you don't need the experience of levitation right now because it has nothing to teach you. It's going to be just for your fun and recreation, you know? But then it was all about, "Oh, I got that job, I made money, I become a coach," because that had stuff to teach you. You'll see when you say tough to teach you, that means like you're going to get experiences once you become a coach. It will test you
Mhm.
by through your triggers. It will bring you stuff. It
Mhm.
will lead you to your next version. Once you'll arrive at a certain version, some beings have, I think, have done that in the past, where they actually levitated or
Mhm.
they have bilocated to another place, dissolved their body and stuff. Because to them, it was not just recreation. It was not
Mhm.
proving something. It was something that was a natural blossoming of the soul. Just like how your natural blossoming was tuning into your inner world.
Mhm.
Somebody, maybe like an 8-year-old Nikhil, might have felt a mindfulness is, that is something cool. I would like to experience that. But to you, it was not just something cool. To you, something it was so pivotal in your life that turned your entire life around.
Mhm.
Does it resonate, Rashid?
Yeah, totally. I think that gives me a little bit more understanding on, yeah, why certain things manifest and certain things don't. And also, very importantly, I think you said about the 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 why aspect. It's like
Mm.
it doesn't have much to teach you, so it's not ready, or you're not ready for it.
Mm.
And that is very interesting, and I like it because, again, this tests my boundaries. So like when you speak about this, my critical alarm is going. Fuck. As everybody who has done any physics will be like, "Yo, come on, man, what are you talking about?" But then I know, like, there are things which are unexplainable. So when people are trying to use it to help people in a safe environment, safe way, I think it's useful. I think people should
Mm.
be more open. Not just about that. I think you said when somebody breaks that uh, 4 minute mile or whatever, that
Mm.
barrier, the whole consciousness shifts. And so that is what we are trying to do, is trying to show people there is different ways, to get what you want. So like, ultimately, what is the purpose of all this? In my opinion, I think is to heal, is to help, is to grow, is to make you happy, peaceful, equanimous. Just what happens after being equanimous? You cease to exist. So all of this is to get there. If that is what we are searching, we are all going there. So in the process, might as well enjoy it. So that is my kind of thing. It's like, yeah, so there are theories, there are practices, there are theories which conform to the society. There are theories which probably not yet conforms to society. And as the sun actually shines in my face, which is fascinating.
It is. Right on your face.
I mean, I should say something profound like, yeah. I think I think that does help me to understand a little bit more about
Right.
the law of relevance and why some things mm, you do it for show, it doesn't happen. But if it's happening of natural ways, it happens. And it goes back to the question of what is spirituality, or
Mhm.
what is it that we are talking about? No, we talked
Mm-mm.
about heart, but what is it that we're talking? We are talking about that we are consciously manifesting all the time. Correct?
Mhm.
That's what you're talking about. Like we are, so the manifesting happens or you realize it when you are becoming conscious of it, but it's happening all the time is what I understand. So yeah, I think that I agree with. I think it is so hard for people to wrap their heads around it because the
Right.
heads have only got, like, I don't know, 100 billion nerve cells, but the universe has, I don't know, countless. So like it's all interconnected is kind of my way. So like again, we are just like little fluctuations, if you want to get technical and scientific, like little fluctuations in the continuum of space time, let's say, or like in the quantum field. Uh, so which is basically saying you are manifesting as we just keep going. So yeah, I think that's what I learned from you. Thank you for bringing that, because that shifts my, again, so two things. One thing, stop forcing things and
Yes.
let it be, let it sit, let it resonate, and then move. So yeah, these are things, and we are constantly manifesting all the time, just getting. And you, like, this is also playfulness of it. You can use it to create things you want. Like if you want to create a life of abundance, it's available. If you want to create a life of uh, helping people, so it's available. If you want to create a life of uh, working in different companies, working anything is possible. Anything is possible, and it's just that are we ready to receive what comes
Absolutely.
or what it shows.
Yeah, this was such a fun conversation. I have so many questions, but I think we would need you for another podcast because there are a zillion questions that are already in my mind waiting for me to ask you, especially. Okay, I'll not reveal here. I'll keep it for the next podcast because I don't want to give it away. But before we end our podcast today, Nikhil, you have written a book. You have courses. Nikhil's all social links and everything you guys will find in the description. Go check it out. But Nikhil, you're offering discovery calls, right? So would you like to share like what is that you're offering, through your discovery call at the moment? What is the experience that people are going to, you know, get
Yeah. So
through the
thank
discovery?
you, Debjit. Thank you for having me. I think one of the areas which I really am passionate about, physical and mental health. So, I mean, I'm separating it for the purpose of like understanding, rather than, I don't think there is a physical self and a mental self. We are all sort of same thing, just to make sure that. But I think there is a usefulness for making it separate, in the sense people are stuck.
Mhm.
People are stuck. They are stuck even in great jobs, even in amazing wealth, even in any place. They are stuck because they are not moving enough. not moving their body enough, not moving their mind enough. So that's
Mm.
where I think I can kind of, that's where I help, is helping people move their mind and body. And through the lens of mindfulness, I encourage and I support these practices just to show you what's possible. And then from there, it's all you. So if you are interested in learning more about how mindfulness can help you in strength training, in leadership training, in just general life training, I mean, life training, you don't need to train to live, but like the idea of living your values, living yourself. What does that mean? So yeah, so I help people with their physical and mental health in terms of mindfulness, through mindfulness. Yeah, so if you're curious about what that means, let's have a chat, and let's see how I can support you. And yeah, go check out my book also on Amazon.
Mindfulness in leadership, how managers can transform their teams and themselves to be more productive and joyful at work. It's available on Amazon. I just found out, like, Nikhil has written a book. I mean, like, I did not know about it, Nikhil. Like, seriously, go check out the book, guys. And I can vouch for myself because, like I told you, like, I myself had a shift in my inner experience with gratitude, just having a chat with Nikhil. So I can only tell my audience what kind of an experience they can expect in that discovery call. You have already felt how Nikhil is. Just go have that experience. Links will be in the description of the video.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Nikhil, for being in this podcast with me, sharing your insight and your wisdom with me. It was truly a fun and wonderful conversation. And like I said, I would love to have you in another podcast sometime in the future because I have so many questions to ask you from so many facets of your life because we did not even explore the fitness area of your life. We have not touched about it. I want to touch on the skeptic Nikhil and what is going on with that one and how Nikhil handles that because I am pretty sure a lot of people can relate. So I'd love
Mm.
to have you in another podcast. So thank you so much, Nikhil.
Thank you, Debjit. This has been wonderful, and looking forward to having a catch up again.
Absolutely. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have enjoyed, do give this video a like. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone. Bye bye.